Don't you think, Mom?
Oh.
Yeah, that's pink wine, so you're going to want to plug your nose before you drink it.
Yeah, now, is that going to be a wire transfer, or is there like a vault somewhere full of chicken money that we could dive into and swim around in like Scrooge
like
McDuck?
Scrooge McDuck?
Yeah!
Ah!
Yeah, Scrooge McDuck.
Welcome back to the Night Pod Cometh, where we talk about It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I'm Magnum Mills. I'm back with the Soupdeucer, and we are on to the second episode of season 18. This one is titled Dennis and Dee Don't Get Rich. Soup, spoiler alert, but I'm very happy that Dennis and Dee don't get rich. They're already insufferable enough. They're already bad, like, lower middle class or whatever they are. They'd be absolutely terrible rich people.
Yeah, agreed. Absolutely terrible rich people, man.
Yeah, not a lot of real ones as rich people, but they show their true colors here. I feel like as soon as they even sniff a little bit of money, it's literally just a contempt for everybody else. And that is not a healthy way to live. You should love everybody, and we love y'all for checking out this episode of the Night Pod Cometh. Really appreciate it. We are presented by Regular Dudes Watch Stuff. You can find our podcast wherever you get your pods. Spotify, Apple Podcast, all of the good ones. We are there. Our videos are on YouTube, and we're on social media and the web at Dudes Watch Stuff. Very simple and easy to remember, just like the flaps, FLAPS. Follow, like, and please subscribe. If you had fun, please hit the thumb. And please be aware, this is a full spoiler affair. There will be full spoilers for all aired episodes of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia through the second episode of season 18. This is your first and final warning. Don't say we didn't warn you.
Let's do this thing!
This is Dennis and Dee Don't Get Rich, season 18, episode 2, the 180th overall episode of the show. Originally aired August 17th, 2026, with a simultaneous drop on Hulu, directed by Todd Bierman. This is the 20th episode of Sunny that he has directed. We have one of the dynamic duos here on the writing credits, Charlie Day and Glenn Howerton. They also have the credit for the next episode. Season 18, Episode 3, The Gang Gets Tested, guest starring Sandy Martin as Mrs. Mack, Andrew Friedman as Uncle Jack, Nate Caudry as Mortician, Gregory Scott Cummins as Donald and Luther, and Carol Kane as Sam. The short plot synopsis is the Reynolds twins push themselves to the limit to secure Sam's transfer of wealth. Charlie and Frank plan a proper memorial for Bonnie during the annual Mummers Parade. Soup, a lot of kind of spectacle to this one. Overall thoughts? We saw some of this in the trailer. Did you enjoy it? Was it a proper send-off for both Sam and Bonnie? We got the unexpected return of Luther. What did you think about Dennis and Dee ultimately not getting rich?
I mean, I didn't think that would happen. I'm glad it didn't. I absolutely shocked one of them didn't dive into the water after the thumb, but they've already failed a few times and they don't deserve it anyway because they did not think out their plan. But anyway, glad it is where it is, man. I think the episode as a whole was a good one, and moving on, dude.
To me, it felt absolutely like the second part of a two-parter with the season premiere. Did it feel that way to you too?
Yeah, for sure, man. It definitely did. And it could have been, I'm glad they released both these at the same time. You get these out of the way and move on to something else. Because I feel like this was like the tying up the loose ends from the first episode anyway. And as you said earlier in the last episode or whatever, that, the final two of last season kind of did the same thing, tied them together. It's kind of fitting that, tie the left shoe too. And here we are. Kicking off the season with starting the left shoe, dude. So, but yeah, moving on to other things now. Like this is pretty much wrapped up, so there's room for other shit now. So that's a good way to do it, man.
Yeah, it was a lot again, especially having to deal with the Sam thing and then the death of Charlie's mom, both not having the character available anymore and having the actress having passed away. So that was tough to deal with. Tying them together was tough. I think, again, my expectations were a little bit higher than they probably should have been. based on how much I enjoyed last season, based on the trailer, based on the fact that we knew they were going to incorporate the Mummers Parade, which is one of the bigger Philadelphia institutions, traditions that they haven't really done anything with yet. And I think they did it credit. Honestly, the Mummer stuff looked really good. I liked even the little bits at the beginning where they kind of shouted out all the various men's group. Obviously Bonnie was a little bit of a mummer hummer here, but I like that, just keeping up with the idea that she was a gigantic whore. And Soup, generally, I know you're not a fan of the trailers revealing too much here, and we saw a bunch of stuff from this episode, but we did not know we were getting the return of both Luther and Donald here. I thought that was a pretty pleasant surprise. So do you like that? Do you think they balanced it out enough? They spoiled some stuff, but at least they held something back. Do you think that kind of pays it off a little bit, that they gave away a couple of the big moments?
I don't know that it evens out. It's cool that they didn't put all of it out there, but so yeah, at least they had some restraint. I would have liked to have seen less, but at this point, I watched the trailer when we talked about it. I mean, I guess it was only a few weeks ago or whatever, but it wasn't exactly fresh in my brain, so I didn't really I vaguely remember seeing some of this stuff, so it didn't. I try to forget about those kind of things and put it in the back of my mind anyway. And if it happened to fall into play where I had a lot going on, so I wasn't really thinking about it. So it wasn't
Right, it can slip past the goalie or slip out of mind pretty quickly. We've talked about how easily that can happen. I had to do some of the pre-production stuff here, so I went back over it. Really, it's just the float with the cannon. I wish they hadn't given that away. That's probably the only part, because then you really realize early in the episode, very early, we'll talk about where Dennis even laughed at the guy. Oh, go ahead, shoot her body out of a cannon into the Delaware River for all we care. And isn't it ironic, don't you think, that that's actually what winds up happening? So again, I think it's solid kind of conclusion here to the Sam quadrilogy, whatever you want to call it. I thought the Mummers Parade stuff was really done very, very well. I was hoping for Jason Kelsey to do his second cameo on Sunny. He showed up again towards the end of season 13, I think in the two-parter there with the Eagles in the Super Bowl. I know Charlie's home alone. The gang wins a big game. I think he was in both of those technically, so maybe it would have been his third episode. Would have been pretty sweet. Dude looks very good, dressed up as a mummer. Although I think honestly Charlie looked pretty good as well. And Soup, the one thing, I didn't love everything about Dee and Dennis going back to the morgue, back and forth, until the runner though with them slamming the doors was one of those things. This is kind of annoying. This is kind of annoying, but at the very end, where they just kind of go for it and keep slamming the stuff, it was one of those jokes that they kept doing it for so long. It kind of paid off for me. Did you like that part of it? Because the Dennis and D stuff could have been a little repetitive. It's just basically them doing the same thing over and over again, spinning their wheels a little bit. But I thought even if it was a little bit rough overall, the payoff was probably worth it.
I mean, in a way, dude, but it's also I mean, it's kind of overkill. I mean, it was almost annoying at that point. Just would you be able to get away with this shit anyway? Who would really do this kind of thing, man? They've already put boundaries pretty fucking far, and now they're going to that extreme. I mean, I don't know. Seems a little far-fetched.
Well, if you go back to the season 4 premiere, Mac and Dennis Manhunters, that's the one where Charlie and Dee think that they ate human meat and they're hooked on it, so they go to the morgue and they literally bring a fork and grill and a six-pack.
And we thought maybe if he saw or was near the hot plate one more time,
Right. Look, spare me the act. I'll give you guys the same deal I give everyone else. $50 gets you 10 minutes alone with the bodies.
What's he talking about?
I gotta say, though, I ain't never seen a guy and a girl bang one of these stiffs at the same time.
Oh, yeah. I do remember that one, though. Yeah, you got a human meat guy.
So again, this isn't even the first time that they've gone to the morgue ostensibly to steal or eat or do something with, something wicked with body parts.
Good point.
Yes, I mean, no, it's not really, terribly realistic here. Again, it felt like they were trying to say something about kind of the class divide, the rich versus poor, and I don't know if it really came through, other than the fact that Dennis and Dee really, as soon as they considered themselves to be rich, would literally leave everybody behind, Thundergun style, right? No hesitation, no surrender. They're out of there. Yeah. They're never talking to Mac or Frank again.
Yeah, they're not. Certainly not. People, they're not in it for the people, man. They're in it for themselves, and that's it.
Right. Yeah, they're not. If they would be, if they were the, people who won the lottery, they would be on one of those, the documentaries or whatever. They wouldn't be one of the cool people who gave all their friends like $500K and they all chill or whatever. They'd be one of the bad ones.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's dive into the episode starting at 8:50 a.m. on a Monday. Dennis and Dee get Sam's death certificate from the coroner and they're ready to get rich. They head to Charlie's mom's house to finalize the paperwork with Uncle Jack. There they find volunteers from various men's group repairing the house. Charlie's going to sell the house in order to pay for a clown-based double funeral for his mom and Sam. Dennis and Dee find Uncle Jack in the basement, but they hit a snag. Their copy of the marriage certificate is missing Sam's thumbprint and signature. So we talked to the cut to title card here. This one isn't as good as the season premiere, but it's not terrible. You have Dennis like
Dee, we are about to get rich.
not a lot of setup here. I mean, it's it's the exact opposite. So for that undercut is pretty nice. But again, probably slightly below average cut to title card. Not bad or anything, but again, not terribly clever. It's just, here's the opposite thing of what they think is going to happen.
Yeah, and I had to do a double take or a triple take actually because so wait, does say they do or they don't. So I definitely had to get back real quick and give another look at it. Oh, they don't get rich. Okay, I figured that.
Yeah, it's always nice when that's like, you cut them down so expertly, just chop both legs down just like nothing. The one thing I don't know if I necessarily buy, but I'm willing to hand wave it, is the idea that Charlie is going to flip his mom's house just to pay for the funeral. Like, shouldn't Frank pay for the funeral?
I would think so. I think he should at least chip in, man,
Yeah, that felt just a little off to me. I mean, because theoretically they've established that Frank is at least somewhat protective of Charlie, and he always like gave Mac and Dennis shit for like doing stupid things like renting inflatable furniture and shit like that. So I feel he'd be like, all right, Charlie, don't sell your house for the funeral. Like, do something with it. You know what I mean? I feel, or Frank would move in there. They can move in there or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. Who knows? This is Sunny. Maybe we go forward and then they still have the house for some reason, especially if they want to keep Uncle Jack around. Maybe that's Mrs. Mac and Luther. Maybe they're gonna do a lawsuit, something like that.
I think
Maybe
Frank kind of likes living in squalor, though, dude.
Yeah, that's his whole deal. Like he likes it. They sleep ass to ass, dude. You know that.
Hold the pole or hold the hole? Hold the hole, hold the pole, hold the hole, hold the hole.
Just don't poop the bed. I obviously love the idea again, the callback to just Charlie's mom being a giant horse. So literally, everybody from every men's group that exists basically in Philadelphia is there. And I love how like half the dudes are working and the other half just appear to be sitting at the table and either trading war stories or playing poker. Feels about right for that kind of crew. And also for kind of a funeral thing. I guess, hey, good for Charlie for getting some free workers here. I really thought that the coroner here was very good in this episode, kind of low-key MVP in some of just the subtle stuff here in their exchanges when he's like, Dennis is very impressed with the way the head is stitched back on the body. That absolutely tracks for Dennis and kind of his weird infatuation with stuff like that. But then I love how the coroner's like, oh yeah, the head coming off at the wedding. We talked about they being a great moment in the season premiere. It's like, oh, that must have been, oh, it must have been horrible. And Dennis was like, yeah, oh yeah, it almost ruined the wedding for us. Like the wedding was still a success, despite the bride's head falling off and her being dead. It still worked out in the end for them.
Right, yeah. Could have been worse.
Just shows you kind of just how cold Dennis is. I absolutely love that. You get the foreshadowing here with Dennis talking about Sam's remains being shot out of a cannon into the Delaware. That was kind of one of the options that he gave. We get the Donna Brazano thing, bringing it back to the bear soup when Dee just starts getting mad. Anytime somebody tells her to relax, tells her to calm down, she just gets angry, or she's like, the Hulk like that. Instead of getting angry when somebody makes them angry, it's asking you if you're angry. Makes you more angry.
It can only take so much, dude. I mean, fuck, man.
Yeah, you really can until you turn into a big Hulk, I guess. Generally a green one, I think. And a couple of other callbacks here. Dee's also like, hey, just go ahead, just throw the body in the trash. We've heard Frank say a bunch of times, like, that's it. When he's dead, throw him in the trash, throw him in the dumpster. So that actually tracks. And Dee also calls Charlie out for they already helped him throw a body off a mountain. And if you remember the end of season 15, they literally carried the corpse of Charlie's father who died from COVID up a mountain, threw it off a cliff. So she isn't actually lying. That's happened. So then more body disposal on this show than you would think of as well.
There's a lot, man. You forget how long the show's been going on, how much shit has happened, man.
Oh yeah, the serial killer one where they find the heads in the fridge, the freezer, Joe. Like, yeah, there's been some stuff, and then we'll find out, man. What Dennis ultimately is and where his tools are. Next, we find ourselves in the prison visitation area where Mac and his mom have gone to visit his dad, Luther. They're trying to find a place for Mrs. Mac to live, but when Luther hears that Bonnie died and is receiving a mummer's funeral, he tells him to go visit his Uncle Donald. Dennis and Dee return to the morgue, and since they didn't bring an ink pad, Dennis rips a thumb off the corpse. Soup, we already talked about kind of the return of Luther. We like this. I did not have, Dennis and Dee, they've done some shit, dude. They smoke crack. But defiling a corpse together, I definitely believe Dennis doing it on his own. Maybe I could believe Dee doing it because she gets caught up so far into something. But them teaming together to do it almost makes it feel kind of dirty and worse than, right?
Dude, I'm fully behind all that and everything, man. I just
They're corrupting each other even more and more. I like this.
Yeah, but ultimately, at the end of the day, I think this whole scene situation was an epic fail because one, they went in blind. They didn't bring nothing, not no ink pad, no tools, nothing, nothing. And then they ripped the thumb off the wrong fucking corpse. How the fuck? Like you didn't double check that? I mean,
and if you look, you can kind of tell it's like a dude. It looks like a dude's hand, like arm. It's kind of a
definitely
hairy
man
arm.
hands. Yeah, definitely man hands. But either way, dude, I would have fucking made sure, man, or I would have brought an ink pad or something. But
I mean, they shut her in the tube. They should know which one they shut her in there. They made a big deal out of slamming her in there.
If you're gonna have somebody wrenching a fucking thumb off by hand, I want to see that shit, dude. You know what I mean? At least
it's not going to come up. And to kind of quote Shorzy, once you make the initial break, you're flying through the helicopter.
Yeah,
a helicopter. Like once you break the boat, it's like a chicken.
It's not going to be a clean. All right,
you get the Pennsylvania wing, the end of the chicken
try to get
wing
a chicken
off
wing.
there.
Try to get the chicken wing off a chicken. Think about a fucking thumb.
Yeah, without you don't get no woos off or nothing. You got to do that by hand.
Yeah, no paring knife, nothing, dude.
Not a dude, just not a. And, I mean, honestly, though, it does set up just them yelling at each other. Mostly in this episode, I love all the stuff they yell at each other about being rich. There are a couple of fun ones. Just the bit though, like the idea that they're going to be so rich that they don't even ever have to like ask for anything again. Like literally, if they ever need a thumb again, they'll just like imagine it, and people will bring them thumbs. Who do you think better? Like Walter from Lebowski, can he get a thumb or can he get a toe with polish before Dennis and Dee can get a thumb if they're rich?
Well, he says he can do it before 2 o'clock. So depending on when Dennis thinks he can get a fucking thumb with polish, I don't know. 2 o'clock.
I felt like 4 or 5 hours for Walter. Probably they were eating breakfast.
Man, there's ways, dude. You didn't even want to know. There's ways, man.
With polish, dude. I mean, you didn't say matching polish, but with polish.
With polish. Oh yeah. Then you try to you throw a couple extras in there. Hey man, raise the stakes. Matching polish, dude.
The whole bit with Luther coming back was great. But one of my favorite parts was Mac just continually offering up his mom for like sexual favors if he wouldn't do it. Like I'm sure her mom will give you a hand job, or maybe she'll do a little more. Mac just wants his parents to be together so bad that he's willing to just like literally just give his mom up. It is what it is. You mentioned that it wasn't optimal the way that Dennis took the thumb, but I did like the editing, the cut that they did to him starting to crank it off, and then they cut to like Charlie working on the floor with the kind of the loud noise, like
you hear the loud break noise and shit.
Yeah,
that was well done, but
that was a good edit right there. Yeah.
You'd have to have some twisting, some yanking, dude. It was not an easy,
Oh yeah, dude. They would have eventually. I mean, I would assume they did not bring their tools, but I'm pretty sure there are tools in the room.
It's got to be something, dude.
Yeah, literally just about anything. Like, can you sharpen the edge of a metal dustpan at this point? I mean, just about anything. Like, get some kind of edge
rip a
going
beer
on.
can in half, man. Use a sharp edge off of that. There's got to be something, man. Anything can be a weapon or a tool.
Yeah, or both. I mean, the best weapons are tools and vice versa.
Exactly.
Dennis and Dee return to Uncle Jack only to discover that they got the wrong thumbprint. Mac and his mom arrive at Uncle Donald's, and before long, Luther shows up. He got a 24-hour release to participate in Bonnie's funeral, and he joins them for dinner. Over dinner, Luther apologizes to Donald for not letting him join the mummers when they were younger. Luther then reveals to Mac that he's going to let Donald take his place in the parade, after which he'll be sent back to prison instead of Luther. And how about Uncle Donald here? We saw him only the once here in season 15 or season 16. Frank shoots every member of the gang. That's when they did the road trip. Remember, they stopped at Uncle Donald's for the papers, and then they went to see Charlie's sisters, who had the jar full of teeth. Like that's kind of the only time it's the same actor playing both. And I think he does a very good job here. Like they feel like distinct characters.
Yeah, for sure, dude. I mean, it definitely. I mean, I like when there's that kind of thing where it's the same dude, or whatever, man.
Yeah, playing brothers, which makes sense, so they can look enough alike. It's not just the tattoos or whatever, but really just the voice inflection, the mannerisms. Like I think he does a really good job with it. And this can work when the characters aren't on screen together, but when they're, obviously they're not shooting them in the same shot together, but when they're literally talking to each other like that, it has to. You feel like they're different enough for it to work, and I think this absolutely does.
Yeah, definitely, man. I thought it was very well done, and it was it was a cool way to a cool little twist they put in it too, man.
I love that Mac is just kind of on one level so happy that, his family is back together, even though I don't think his mom or his dad really want that much to do with him. But then ironically, the Alanis alert here, Uncle Donald is the dude, it's like pretty obviously like he's, a gay man that went through some shit. He'd like nothing more than to connect with his nephew and just commiserate and Mac wants nothing to do with him. The only one who wants to have a connection with Mac wants nothing to do with.
And isn't it ironic? Don't you think?
Yeah, crazy, man. It's
Just perfect sometimes.
funny, dude.
And again, I've kind of talked about it, all of the stuff with the rich poor. We have seen Dennis and Dee both kind of go off like this. Usually it's kind of within the context of the Range Rover stuff. I just loved Dee's line when they go back in.
Stop talking! I'm breathing in the poor!
Just because they're doing all the work there. That felt like the kind of the best of that. At Soup, you are a man in the back of the house here. What'd you think about Uncle Donald's food game here? He had the bronzino with the rosé and some creme brulee. What'd you think about Uncle Donald here? Was he throwing down a little bit?
Yeah, he's definitely trying to impress his home cook, man. And more power to him, man. But he's also a guy that tucks in his shirt, man. Who wears a button-up shirt and tucks it in. Can't be comfortable. Wears me out. No, that's not comfortable. So, and you're around the house, like if that's how you wear around the house, makes me wonder about a guy.
I mean, around the house, I barely wear pants. What company's coming over, or you want pants? Next, Dennis and Dee return to the morgue only to find that Frank has already taken Sam's body. They slam a few more doors and head for the parade. At the parade, they track down Charlie, but they're too late to stop Frank, who fires Sam's corpse out of a cannon into the Delaware River. The police begin to take away the man dressed as a mummer, but Matt confesses that Luther switched places with Donald. But come to find out, Luther never made the switch because he knew Mac would rat him out. Soup, did you like the twist here? Did you see it coming? Honestly, when I saw Donald standing next to Mac, just because it didn't look like they made any effort to hide a tattoo or anything, I really still thought that was Donald. So the twist didn't quite land for me, but I do like kind of what they promised by it. I like the idea that Mac once again has to fear his dad. That's kind of been the case for the entirety of the show until recently. So I kind of like that now he has a little bit of a threat out there. Did they get you on the twist here?
A little bit, yeah, but after the fact, I was like, oh yeah, okay, that makes sense. So it didn't, yeah, but no, I wasn't that surprised by it.
Yeah, when Donald started crying,
But
that
I
was when
wasn't
they gave it
thinking, but I
away.
didn't see it either. I didn't see it either, but yeah.
Yeah, see, whenever there's twins, I'm basically this almost has to be a direct callback to Arrested Development with George and Oscar, where the brothers keep like getting arrested for the other one and getting taken to jail. There's just almost no way that's not a reference. So I almost expected something like this because it's just so out of Arrested Development. And honestly, the whole bit at the end kind of taking place within the context of the parade. This is very cool. It does look like a mummers parade. Did you like the look of this? But I thought Charlie Day went all out here, man. All the dancing and everything like that. They really sold me on it. I'm sure this was a pretty decent amount of the budget for the season that went to this. It wasn't for nothing. I thought it was pretty great. This is pretty big sequence here. I mean, they blasted a body out of a cannon. Was this kind of a proper, grand finale for you?
Yeah, I thought yeah, I mean, and I have no frame of reference with the Mummer Parade or anything, man, because I'd never seen it or anything. I didn't even know about it until recently. But that's cool, man. I like that they did it justice, and it's a respectable, as you would expect from them, a respectable, portrayal of an event of that magnitude, which is super cool. So yeah, man, it was badass, dude. And yeah, I mean, obviously there was a lot of choreography involved there and everything else, so costumes and all that. I mean, Charlie looked awesome, man, creepy as fuck, but also fit right in there. It was cool, dude. It was circus parade kind of shit. It was definitely badass.
Would he be popular at a like a fish show if he was dancing in the parking lot pre-show like that, all
Oh,
dressed
for
up in
sure.
that?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Would people be boogie into the mummers?
Yeah, you'd want to know that guy, man. If you're just trying to go check that guy out, yeah.
Who would be more popular, Charlie Day dressed like that or Charlie Day dressed as Green Man?
Shit. Probably like that.
Yeah, I mean Green Man would be kind of niche, but like that takes some work, all the white makeup and everything. Like I feel like people would generally, Green Man's great, but it's really just wearing a green body sock and being at least skinny enough to pull it off. I did love the end of the gag with Dennis and Dee slamming shit. And, you're talking about the bear, you have broken doors. At one point, the dude's like, you broke a $60,000 door. But I love at the end when they finally just start slamming more shit on the way out. The dude's just like, fuck this job. Like that felt so real to me. I didn't love the whole gag, but it was one of those like kind of Family Guy gags that went on for so long that eventually it became funny. But at least him kind of just being like, dude, fuck this job and these people I have to deal with. And that moment I just felt for dude. So that helped it land for me, I guess.
I've got to wonder, man, his job is like how many times most people
Quarter's got to
probably
be a shitty job, dude.
yeah, but I'm thinking most people don't act like that, There's probably a
Oh no, but you probably get some. I mean, not only the bereaved people, but just some sick people too.
Yeah,
Not a lot of pay, probably.
Right.
And you know how that goes. That's and also the callback to Mac being a rat. We've seen that when he's playing both sides, telling people he's playing both sides. And in the high school reunion episode, we learned that his nickname in high school was Ronnie the Rat. One of those things, never forget. His real name is Ronald McDonald. His dad did that to him. Luther knew that, and he did it anyways. So that's nice setup at the end there too, right? When Luther's like,
"Will I see you again?"
Oh yeah, I'll probably come back to kill you someday.
Kind of creepy, dude. And
I love that, but that's what Mac needs him because he always tries to screw his dad over. Like even when he helps him, he screws him over. That's pretty much how they work. It's one of those relationships. Like no matter what Mac does, if he has an interaction with Luther at the end, Luther's going to hate him more than he did at the beginning of it. So very, very well done. Before we move on to the award tour, I'm going to throw out a couple of alternate episode titles. Once again, Dennis and Dee Don't Get Rich is pretty solid, but I have a couple alts I like. Soup, let me know if you like any of these. First, we have Dennis and Dee Steal a Thumb. Then we have Frank Fires a Corpse from a Cannon. And then we have my favorite, Dennis and Dee Defile a Corpse. Any of those stick out to you?
What was the first one with the thumb?
Dennis and Dee Steal a Thumb.
I like that, man. I mean, they're all good, but Dennis and Dee Steal a Thumb. How are you not going to want to watch that episode?
If the other two go a little bit far with the defiling of the corpse and the corpse from the cannon,
Steal
a Thumb could be like maybe it's a heist episode or something.
Stealing a Thumb is a little bit more. It's a little more vague and a little more intriguing. I think
Vague and intriguing.
That could be anything,
Yeah, like my Tinder profile or a box. It can even be a boat.
Yeah, what's in the box, dude?
What's in the box? What's in this box is the award tour. That's what's up next. We're going to talk about our favorite stuff from Dennis and Dee Don't Get Rich, starting with our favorite quote from the episode. Soup, what was your favorite something that came out of people's mouths in this episode?
Dude, from this one, man, I'm going short and sweet and saying, man, she's a mummer hummer, dude.
Yeah, well, see, my mom was like super active in the Phillies men's group scene.
She was a mummer hummer.
Stop.
That feels like there would be a very good, like, rest in peace, Bonnie Kelly t-shirt, like Mummer Hummer. Or at least, maybe a stick. I don't know. Do people still drive Hummers? But if you do, there's a very good kind of a bumper sticker or magnet, something like that.
I haven't seen any Hummers around in a while, man. You're right. Maybe people don't drive them anymore.
Well, I think just because regular SUVs are that big now. Frank doesn't get a lot to do in this episode, but, he talked about at the beginning, people, they want to go out with a bang. And he makes good on that when he says,
Kabani,
and Sam. Two magnificent women who would have wanted to go out with a bang. I should know, I banged both of them.
And as Andrew Dice Clay would say, oh. Next up, we have our favorite scene or moment from the episode. Probably my turn to go first on one of these, Soup. I'm just going to go with that final scene at the morgue where Dennis and Dee are just get their final deslamining or whatever you want to call it. And just the reaction from the coroner there, everything for that just sings for me again. I didn't love the gag, but that finally just made me give up and laugh out loud. Especially as someone who's worked in retail, like those are just the customers, the absolute worst people from hell. So that's who the gang is. So that tracked for me. Soup, how about yourself, man? Favorite scene, favorite moment from this one?
I mean, I really can't. I don't know, man. There's a couple, but I've got to go with the cannon shot, dude. Just the ultimate fucking blow your wad. Cannon shot, head flies this way. It's all. I mean, it was perfect for what it was, man. So I got to go with the money shot there, man.
Soup, just be honest, right now, right here with me. If you had your choice, you could just get, you get cremated, get buried in a regular grave, whatever, or get shot out of a cannon into the Delaware River. Are you not taking cannon?
I mean, if I'm picking one of those, I'm going cannon for sure, dude.
Yeah, I mean, if you have something better, like you going up on a spaceship or something, you got something specific.
Yeah, I could probably come up with some better shit, but also, I don't put a whole lot because am I going to give a fuck?
Right. I'm throwing it in the trash, basically. That's what I mean. So if people can have fun watching me get shot out of a cannon,
but
that seems better than throwing me in the gun.
Maybe, man, maybe. That might sound real fucked up, but the one thing I maybe did think about is, hey, like I've always spent all my life making all this food and shit. People love me for the food and stuff, sometimes and all that. Food's the thing, so, not that I want to turn people into cannibals, but why not turn me into the food and we have a big buffet, hey, I'm the food,
Yes! Finally! Oysters!
Oh, fun fact, even though they serve those on oyster shells, they're actually human testicles.
Well, I mean, at this point,
Next up on the award tour, we have to determine our episode MVP. We do that by counting down our 5-star people. We're ranking our 5 favorite characters from the episode from 1 to 5 stars, with our 5-star person being our episode MVP. Soup, I will go first here. Episode 1, I had a big upset here. My episode MVP, my 5-star person, was a puppet. I went with Stanley the puppet. He had a little bit of Mac, a little bit of Uncle Jack up in him. He was awesome. We will each give our 1 through 3 stars, and then we will give our 4 through 5. At Soup, 1 star, kind of tough here. I had a little bit of a log jammer. I'm going to go with Sweet Dee. I feel like she was in there. She was at least willing to get a little bit dirty. Had to give her a little something. At 2, I got to go with Frank. Didn't get a ton to do in this episode, but he did get to fire his deceased. Well, I don't know if they got married. I don't know if he's fiance or wife or ex-wife or whatever you want to call it. He launched Sam out of a cannon. That's pretty cool. And then at 3, Charlie, again, not a lot to do. Don't necessarily agree with his decision to sell his mother's house to finance her funeral, but I thought the genuine emotion was very nice. We didn't really talk about it, but I did like that scene with Charlie and Frank at the end, having a little hug, talking about how they miss their ladies. And I thought all the dancing, the mummer stuff was great. So I have Dee as my 1 star, Frank at 2, Charlie at 3. Soup, in the season premiere, you had your MVP as Dee, your 5-star lady. Who do you have as your 1 through 3 star people here for Dennis and Dee Do Not Get Rich?
Giving Mac the 1 star, man. Mac seems like he's just kind of stringing along, but he's holding shit together, though, So Mac's getting the 1 star. I'm getting Charlie's getting the 2 stars, man. But I feel like Charlie could have been a little bit higher on this one, but he didn't have a lot to do. But what he did was good enough to he could have easily got another star, but he's right there at 2. Although that costume and that final scene with him in the costume, almost brings him to a 3 right there. But whatever, he's a 2. That's how it is. Number 3 goes to Dee.
Dee's nuts. And I felt bad about leaving Mac out, but honestly, like he was basically there with his mom and Luther and Donald for all of his scenes. And Mac was probably my least favorite character in those scenes. So nothing wrong with that because I think there were some studs in those scenes, but not quite as good of an episode for Mac maybe as the season premiere. For my 4-star, I just kind of teased it. I'm going Luther. I thought Luther was awesome here. We haven't seen him in a minute. He still always feels just really intimidating. I love just his steely silence, just staring you down. Just the look, everything, just absolutely spectacular, especially because the actor also played Donald. And then for my 5-star, I'm going to give it to the OG 5-star man, for Dennis, just for at least he did pull the thumb off. We don't know how he did it, but he managed to do it. That in of itself is an accomplishment. And again, the final slamming, everything like that. So I'm going Luther 4, Dennis 5. Soup, who do you have as your 4 and 5-star people?
All right, well, I'm gonna tell you right now, Dennis is getting number 4 stars right here because dude, he could have got the 5-star, but he failed on his pre-planning with the thumb and shit. He didn't fail on the pre-planning with the thumb, although yanking it off by hand is fucking noteworthy and respectable. But because he failed on the pre-planning, man, the ripping off the thumb by hand made up for it. That's why he's right here at 4 stars, man. Dennis gets to 4. 5-star guy to stop is fucking Luther, dude. I mean, come on. He had the plan, he saw his angle, and he like played it, man. And he was sick, dude. You get this guy for an episode, might never see him again. Whatever. He's earning the 5 stars this time, man. Fucking Luther and his ruse, dude. Luther and his ruse.
He pulled off his ruse, dude. And some people do not appreciate the ruse. But sometimes you got to do what you got to do. So again, if you were going to bring Luther back, absolutely outstanding way to do it. Kind of hope that they bring him back around. One last stop on the award tour. We have to give an episode grade to Dennis and Dee Don't Get Rich. We grade every episode of Sunny on a scale of 0 to 100 patties bucks. Soup, you're up first here. You went, I believe, 90 patties bucks for the first episode. Frank Marries a Corpse. How many can you spare for episode 2, Dennis and Dee Don't Get Rich?
I think I'm going to check this one up to like a 92, man.
92, Scooby-Doo. That is right in your wheelhouse. I gave Frank Marries a Corpse 87 patties bucks. I think this is a step up. I tried to, because there's 180 of these things at this point. I try to differentiate a little bit. So I was kind of vacillating somewhere between like 88, 89. But, we did Back to the Future 2 recently. Give me the 88, dude. 88 miles per hour. We still average out to a 90. That's enough patties bucks to stimulate the economy, keep it going. We're excited about that. And we're also excited for the next episode, season 18, episode 3, The Gang Gets Tested. This is directed by another longtime director, Richie Keene, written once again by Charlie Day and Glenn Howerton. The synopsis is Dennis and Dee are diagnosed with ADHD, and even more shocking, Mac isn't. They go back to school for a do-over now that they understand their brains more better. Soup, this feels like catnip to us. We have the more better and Back to School. I honestly, they very rarely use a different song instead of the traditional theme opening song. I love if they use the Back to School joint from the Rodney Dangerfield movie for this, like that, and for the opening theme. I think that would be a very good place to do it.
Yeah, dude, for sure, man. That would be sick if they were to theme the episode around there. Like if it was almost like one of the ski club one or whatever, It would have to be
that's one of the ones where they went off the book. Yeah.
But you know what I do like, man? I do like that, after 1 and 2, this episode is going to be totally different. And it's the start of a new, so I like it. I'm looking forward to this next episode a lot, man, because this part of this chapter pretty much tied up, done with, 1 and 2 episode. It was awesome, but now it's like, what do we don't know what to expect now, rest of the season.
Definitely not a lot of patties so far, though, right? Other than the actual wedding ceremony.
Yeah, and I want to see more patties, man.
We've barely been in patties. We know we're going to the Ren Fair soon. It does sound like the War on Alcohol joint will definitely have more patty stuff. So not, kind of light predictions or whatever we want. I do want more patty stuff. I do enjoy kind of those bottle episodes. It's not like the first 2 were bad, especially the first one. We were pretty much just in both apartments before we went to Patty's, so not quite a bottle episode, but certainly, not something that was really, really ambitious. I do think that something is going to happen if they get diagnosed. They're going to get drugs, right, Soup? And we've seen, I think their version instead of Adderall, whatever, they have Ritterol. I guess a combination of Ritalin and Adderall. So Ritterol, I guess that makes sense. Like, I think somebody in the gang is going to wind up like abusing the drug somehow, basically. You think something like,
if
they're getting diagnosed, man, they're getting drugs, right? So something's got to happen with that.
Yeah. Well, you see what they did with the peppers, fuck's sake.
Oh, microdose now?
Microdosing fucking peppers. Imagine what they're doing with HDHD medicine or whatever the shit,
Dude, Frank got a hold of some Ritterol in the gang reignites the rivalry, and it did weird shit to him, like, because they were trying to get back at the one dude. So like Frank went and he messed with all of his financial records so he get audited and get cost a shit ton of money. Meanwhile, Dennis is plugging the dude's toilets and sinks and burning Patty's rules on his lawn and everything. A lot of ways you could go with it. It seems like Charlie's going to be the wild card here. He was just on Kimmel. I think it was the episode where Rosie O'Donnell was guest hosting, believe it or not. And he showed a little clip, so it does look like Charlie is going to, there's nothing about Charlie in the synopsis. So I'm saying he's going to get to be the wild card here. Totally looking forward to that.
Nice. Charlie as a wild card is always a good idea.
I'd like to see a little partying, right? It's always fun, especially even when they're older. I'd love to see the gang going back, trying to play a little flip cup again or some beer pong or something like that.
I think they should. Let's bring back a Charlie McDennis 3.
Oh, that would be, if they got into some kind of challenge with some reason they want to bust out the game.
For some reason, they want to bust out the game again. I think they're due. It's been a while since they played the fucking game.
We could be good for a third round. I know Frank tried to add the level 4 or whatever with the horror and the whatnot, but yeah, I guess everything does have to be based on a board game. So I'm sure there's some way they could do it, but probably no more operation. And one more for you, Soup. I think this will be fun. I'm gonna say that the whole thing is all right, Dennis and Dee have it, but Mac doesn't. I'm saying somebody messed with the test results.
Oh yeah.
At the very end, kind of that's the twist. Or maybe that they all thought they were on drugs and it's placebo. They already kind of did that on Charlie.
That makes more
the
sense,
flowers for
actually.
Charlie.
Yeah.
So they've kind of done that a little bit, but I think that there's going to be some kind of twist to that where they think they're getting more better, but they're not really. They're who they've always been.
That makes more sense, dude. The placebo thing definitely makes more sense, man. It's kind of however,
Yeah, they're part of an experiment or something. There's some other level to it.
Yeah, it's not really human meat, dude. I've been feeding you raccoon the whole time.
Why are we so? Well, shit is riddled with parasites. See, you do? Oh yeah, dude. That's as part of a preparation or whatever. Just we had a couple days to record until we recorded after I watched the episodes. So I went back through and I tried to watch the first 2 episodes of every season. And I have to say, Sonny's done better with the first 2 than I thought. But almost always, I'll initially be like, oh man, and then after I rewatch them a bunch of times, I'm like, oh yeah, these are way better than I thought they were. So I think in that regard, these episodes live up to it. I'm guessing episode 3 of season 18 will, and hopefully here on the Night Pod Cometh, we lived up to y'all's expectations. Hopefully you will join us again for the rest of season 18. Thank you for checking out the show. We are presented by Regular Dudes Watch Stuff. Find our content wherever you get your podcast, on the YouTube. Find us on social media and the web at Dudes Watch Stuff. Simple and easy to remember, just like the Flaps, FLAPS. Follow, like, and please subscribe if you had the fun. Please touch the thumb. I am Magnum Mills with Soupdeucer. Jamie G is a ghost right now, but he will be back. There will be more Night Pod Cometh. Thank you for enjoying the show, being a fighter for the Night Pod Cometh.
Oh, champion of the sun.